We have previously seen question number 1, 2 and 3. In this video, we'll learn question number 4 to 10 of problem set 1. Let's see question number 4. Coordinate of point P on a number line is -7. Find the coordinates of points on a number line which are at a distance of 8 units from point P. So here one coordinate is given, that is P, and the coordinate of point P is -7, and we have to find the other coordinate. But what is other thing given is the distance between the unknown coordinate and coordinate of point P. So we have to find the unknown coordinate with the help of that distance given, that is 8 units. So let's see how we will do that. Before that, let's understand something, that is 1 and -1. Both are 1 units far from 0. Okay, 0 is in center and one side is 1 and the other side -1 is present. But both are 1 centimeter or 1 units far from 0. Okay, so here if we have to find the distance of 8 units from point P, that means there are two possibilities. One point will be on the left side of the P and the other point will be on the right side of the P. And the distance between P and the point on the right side is 8 units, and the distance between P and the point on the left side will also be 8 units. So let's see, here you can see the diagram. Let's see the solution. Here one diagram is given. Point P and the coordinate of point P is also given, that is -7. And as we said, there are two possibilities that the distance between P and any other number will be 8 units. There are two possibilities. So therefore here 2 points are taken, point Q and point R, and the coordinates are unknown. That's why we will consider it as X and Y. So let X be the coordinate of point Q on the right side of point P. So point P is given and 2 points that we have considered, one will be present on right side and other will be on left side. So the right side one let us consider as X. The coordinate of that point will be X, that is point Q. So coordinates of point P is -7 and the distance between P and Q is 8 units. This is given, that the distance between P and any other unknown is 8 units, but that we have taken as Q. So distance between P and Q is equals to 8 units. And X is greater than -7. Why? Because X is present on the right side, and any number on a number line which is more to the right side, it will be the greater one. Okay, so that's why X is greater than -7. Whether it is positive or negative, but as it is present in right side, it will be greater than -7. So point Q is on the right side, that we have to write here also. So distance between P and Q is equals to X minus -7, that is greater coordinate minus smaller coordinate. Same formula we have used, but what problem is here, that distance is given but coordinate is not given. So let's substitute the distance. 8 is equals to X plus 7. The minus will become plus here. So X plus 7. Now we have to find X here. So X will be alone in one side and plus 7 will get shifted to the other side and it will become -7. So X is equals to 8 minus 7, that is X is equals to 1. Therefore coordinate of point Q is 1. Now we have found the answer of X, and what was X? The coordinate of Q, that is 1. So now if you want to cross check your answers whether it is correct or wrong, then you can subtract 1 minus -7, and if you got the answer 8 units, then your answer is completely correct. So here we are getting 1 minus -7 is 8 units, so our answer is perfect. So let's find the next point, next possibility that any unknown number and p, distance of both of them is 8 units. So let's see, let y be the coordinate of point r on the left side of the point p. Here coordinates of point p is -7 and distance between p and r is equals to 8 units. It is given. The distance is given and the coordinate of p is given, and we have considered the other point coordinate as y. So here -7 is greater than y. Why? But because y is present on the left side. Okay, the point y is present on the left side, and the number which is more to the left side, the value of it decreases. Okay, so that's why y will be smaller than -7, and -7 is greater than y, because -7 will be to the right side if we compare with y. Okay, so here distance between p and r is equals to -7 minus y, that is greater coordinate minus smaller coordinate. So -7 minus y, and the distance is given, that is 8. Again we have to find y, so that's why what we will do, we will keep it alone at one side, and -7 will get shifted to the other side and it will become +7. So 8 plus 7 equals to -y. 8 plus 7 is nothing but 15. So minus y is equals to 15, but variable can never be negative. So that's why y is equals to -15 is the answer. So now we got the next point also. -15 is the right answer. So distance between p and r is 8 units. If we will substitute, we will cross check our answer. Then -15 and -7 is 8 units. So first point was x equals to 1 and the other is y equals to -15. So therefore the coordinate of point r is -15. Therefore the required coordinate of points are 1 and -15. This is our correct answer. Let's see question number 5. Answer the following questions. First one, if a dash b dash c and distance between AC is equals to 17 and the distance between point B and C is equals to 6.5, then we have to find the distance between A and B. So first of all, here the betweenness is given, that is A dash B dash C. So the longest one, the longest or greatest distance will be first and the last point, that is distance AC. So therefore distance AC is equals to distance AB plus distance BC. Now whatever is given we will substitute here, and that is 17 equals to distance of AB plus 6.5. Now we have to find distance between A and B, so we will keep it alone at one side, and plus 6.5 will get shifted to other side and it will become -6.5. That is 17 minus 6.5 is 10.5 units. So therefore the distance between A and B is equals to 10.5 units. Easy. Let's see the second one of question number 5. If P dash Q dash R, again betweenness, and distance between P and Q is equals to 3.4, distance between Q and R is equals to 5.7, then we have to find the distance between P and R. Again we will follow the formula of betweenness here, that is P dash Q dash R, which means the longest one will be first and the last one, that is distance between PR, and it will be the addition of other two distances. So distance between PR is equals to distance between PQ plus distance between Q and R. Therefore now we will substitute the given datas, that is 3.4 and 5.7. So therefore distance between P and R is equals to 3.4 plus 5.7. So therefore distance between P and R equals to 9.1 units. So question number 5 was very easy. Let's see question number 6. coordinate of point A on a number line is 1. What are the coordinates of points on the number line which are at a distance of 7 units from A? This question is same as the question number 4. We have to find two possibilities of any number to be 7 units far from point A. That means one will be at the right side of point A and the other will be on the left side of point A. So here we are taken the points, the unknown points to be point B and C, and the unknown coordinates of both to be X and Y. Let's X be the coordinate of point B on the right side of point A. So the point present on the right side is the coordinate has X. Here coordinate of point A is 1 and distance between A and B is equals to 7 units. It is given that the distance between the unknown number and the A is 7 units. So that's why here, as we have taken B as the unknown point, so distance between A and B will be 7 units. Here X is greater than 1. Why? Because X is on the right side of 1. So therefore X is greater than 1. Therefore distance between A and B is equals to X minus 1. That is greater coordinate minus smaller coordinate. And now we will substitute the distance of A and B, that is 7. So therefore 7 equals to X minus 1. Now we have to find the value of X. So we'll keep it alone and minus 1 will get shifted to the other side. It will become plus 1. So X equals to 7 plus 1. That is 7 plus 1 is 8. So therefore the coordinate of point B is 8. And again, if you want to cross check your answer, what you will do, you'll simply do greater coordinate minus smaller coordinate, that is 8 minus 1. 8 we have found and 1 was given, and 8 minus 1 is 7, that was given and it is correct. Let's see the next point. Let Y be the coordinate of point C on the left side of point A. So the point which is on the left side, the coordinate of that is Y. Here 1 will be greater than Y. Why? Because Y is to the left side of 1. So the value will be smaller than 1. So therefore 1 is greater than Y. Therefore distance between A and C is equals to 1 minus Y. Greater coordinate minus smaller coordinate. So what we have to find here? Y. So 7 equals to 1 minus Y. Here we want Y to be alone because we have to find the value of Y, but it is a negative variable here. So what we will do, will not shift 1 to the other side, but will shift minus Y to the other side so that it will become plus Y. So Y equals to 1 minus 7. And Y shifted to the other side, so the plus 7 will shift it to this side and it will become minus 7. So 1 minus 7 is minus 6, the sign of the greater number, that is 7. So therefore Y equals to minus 6. Therefore the coordinate of point C is minus 6 and the coordinate of B was 8. So we found both the coordinates which are 7 units far from point A. Therefore, the required coordinates of points are 8 and minus 6. So, question number 6 was also very easy, same as question number 4 and question number 5. See question number 7, write the following statements in conditional form. So, you all know what are conditional forms. We have to write the statements in if and then form. So first one is every square is a rhombus. So we have to write this in conditional form. So answer for this is if a quadrilateral is a square, then it is a rhombus. Second, angles in a linear pair are supplementary. So the answer for this is if the angles are in a linear pair, then they are supplementary. Third one, a triangle is a figure formed by 3 segments. So we have to write this in if-then form. So answer for this is, if a figure is a triangle, then it is formed by 3 segments. Fourth one, a number having only 2 divisors is called a prime number. So answer for this, if a number has only 2 divisors, then it is a prime number. So for writing any statement into conditional form, you have to use if and then in the sentence, and you have to make a sentence in such a way that it should sound or it should look sensible. Next, question number 8. Write the converse of each of the following statements. So you all know what are converse. You have to exchange or interchange the part of antecedent and consequent. So first one is, if the sum of measures of angles in a figure is 180 degree, then the figure is triangle. The converse for this, the answer is, if a figure is a triangle, then the sum of the measures of all the angles of this figure is 180 degree. So we have interchanged both the part in the answer. Second one, if the sum of measures of 2 angles is 90 degree, then they are complement of each other. The converse of this is, if 2 angles are complement of each other, then the sum of their measures is 90 degree. Third one, if the corresponding angles formed by a transversal of 2 lines are congruent, then the 2 lines are parallel. So the converse will be, if 2 parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, then corresponding angles are congruent. Fourth one, if the sum of the digits of a number is divisible by 3, then the number is divisible by 3. The converse of this is, if a number is divisible by 3, then sum of digits of this number is divisible by 3. So these are some normal sentences or statements you have learned from very small age. Okay, this divisibility of 3 and complementary, supplementary. But now you'll understand that all these are mathematical statements, that is conditional statements. So let's see question number 9. Write the antecedent, that is given part, and the consequent, that is part to be proved, in the following statements. So here some statements are given. We have to find out what is given part and what is to prove part from those sentences. Let's see. First one, if all sides of a triangle are congruent, then its all angles are congruent. So here also you can see the diagram for this. The given part is, in triangle ABC, side AB is congruent to side BC, side BC is congruent to side AC. This is given, okay, because if you will read the first sentence, that is, if all sides of triangle are congruent. So by taking that part into consideration, we have written the given path, that is, in triangle ABC, side AB is congruent to side BC, congruent to side AC. Now what is the to prove part? That is, all angles are congruent. So to prove will be based on this diagram. Angle A is congruent to angle B is congruent to angle C. That is, when all the sides are congruent, then angles are also congruent. But we have to write this sentence, this statement, into given and to prove part with the help of one diagram. Let's see second one. The diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. So here we have drawn one diagram based on this statement. Let's see the given part. Here quadrilateral PQRS is a parallelogram. This is given. The second given thing is, diagonals PR and QS intersect at point M. Okay, so this is given part. So what we have to prove that they are bisector of each other, that is they will bisect each other into two equal parts. So here the point where two diagonals are intersecting is point M. So let's see the to prove part also. First one is PM is equals to RM. Because diagonal QS is bisecting diagonal PR into two equal parts. Okay, so that's why we'll get PM equals to MR. Similarly, the second to prove will be QM is equals to SM, because in this case diagonal PR is bisecting diagonal QS into two equal parts, that is QM and SM, and both are equal. So the given part was that it is a quadrilateral, the quadrilateral is parallelogram, and there are two diagonals PR and QS and they are intersecting at point M, and the to prove part is that they are bisecting each other, which means PM is equals to RM and QM is equals to SM. Okay, so this was also very easy. Question number 10. Draw a labeled figure showing information in each of the following statements and write the antecedent and the consequent. So here some statements are given. We have to draw a diagram based on that statement and we have to write the given and to prove part, because it is asked to write antecedent and consequent. So first one is two equilateral triangles are similar. So the diagram here you can see there are two triangles. Let's consider first triangle be triangle ABC and second one triangle PQR, and they are equilateral triangles, means all the sides are equal. So the given part here is triangle ABC and triangle PQR are equilateral triangle. This is a given part, and if you'll again read the statement, it says two equilateral triangles are similar. So we have considered equilateral triangles as given part, and now what will prove that they are similar also. So therefore the to prove is triangle ABC is similar to triangle PQR. This we have to prove. Let's see the second one. If angles in a linear pair are congruent, then each of them is a right angle. So this is a diagram. Here two angles are angle ABD and angle ABC. They are linear pair. So this is how we have to draw the diagram for this question. So if you read the antecedent part, it says if angles in a linear pair are congruent. That means what is the given part? First is angle ABC and angle ABD form a linear pair. Second given is angle ABC is congruent to angle ABD. Now let's read the consequent part. Then each of them is a right angle. So what we have to prove? That both of the angles are right angle. So therefore the to prove will be angle ABC is equals to angle ABD is equals to 90 degree. This is also easy. Third one. If the altitudes drawn on two sides of a triangle are congruent, then those two sides are congruent. So what are altitudes? They are nothing but a perpendicular distance drawn from a vertex to the opposite side. Okay, so what is here given? That if two altitudes are congruent, then the sides are also congruent on which they are drawn. So here how our diagram will look like. Here the triangle is ABC and the two altitudes are seg CN and seg BM. So let's see the given part. In triangle ABC, what is given? First will be seg BM is perpendicular to side AC, that is A dash M dash C. There is betweenness here, and also BM is perpendicular to side AC. Second given is seg CN is perpendicular to side AB, that is A dash N dash B. Third given is seg BM is congruent to seg CN. If you'll read the antecedent part, you'll come to know that what is given, two altitudes are congruent. So for that we have to write that they are perpendicular to sides, and in third given part that they are congruent. Let's see what we have to prove, that those two sides are also congruent. So here according to the diagram, to prove will be side AB is congruent to side AC. So it is also easy. So this is your question number 10 and it is simple. You have to just draw the diagram and based on that you have to write given and to prove part. Now we have completed all the sums of practice set and problem set. I hope you have understood each and every sum and concepts. If you have any single doubt, you can ask down there.